Hi friends, I'm Sarah and welcome to Primrose Lane Prims. For this project, I am going to use one of these foam wreath forms that you can get at the Dollar Tree. I'm also going to be using a bag of the Dollar Tree's potpourri. Now you could use another potpourri if you wanted, but I don't mind the smell of the Dollar Tree potpourri and it's pretty. They have several different kinds. The one here was a lemon zest, the other was a eucalyptus, and I'm going to use the eucalyptus on this because I like the colors, and the eucalyptus, the brighter greens, very springy green. And I'm going to pull this little flower out that's here, and I'm going to set it aside because I will use that later in the end. Now, this project is about as easy peasy as can be, guys. All you got to do is take your hot glue and start hot gluing your potpourri right to your wreath form. That's it. It's like a giant puzzle piece. It's just taking your bits and pieces of potpourri and fitting them around your wreath form in a way that looks good and that covers the foam. There's no right, there's no wrong. This is just about using the pieces that look good to you and just putting it all together. Now, when you're using this, if you can use a lower temperature hot glue, that does work better because if your hot glue is too hot, it will melt your wreath form and you don't want that. But the lower temp works really, really, really great. So as you can see here, I'm just going and I'm just finding the pieces that look good. And I like using some of the bigger pieces too, some of the nutshells and the other pieces that are mixed in because it adds so much more variation to the texture. And this is such a textured piece. I absolutely love the simplicity, but the texture of this project. Plus it smells excellent. This is a really great project to do that if you're just, say you want to sit around and relax and craft, pop on a movie and just slowly piece it together. It's not one that takes a lot of, big concentration or, great focus. You just can kind of piece it together, watch a movie, relax. That's what crafting is to me. It's relaxing. When I've had a long week, that's what I want to do. I want to pull out some crafts, maybe pop on a movie, a Hallmark movie, who knows, whatever, and whatever's floating my boat at the time, and just craft and let the stress melt away. I tell you, after the week I've had, I have seriously needed some crafting therapy. If any of you have watched me before, I'm sure you've heard me say that I have 4 kids, and I have one in high school, one in middle school, and 2 in elementary school. And unfortunately, this time of year, the sickness bugs are just going around everywhere. And when you got 4 kids, it seems to come at you in all directions sometimes. And the minute one gets it, it'll run through the whole household. And once everybody gets healthy, it seems to start over again. And that seems to be the theme of our entire winter this year. But this past week in particular has been really, really rough. Plus, some seasonal allergies have been kicking in. That's what's been hitting me. And if my voice sounds a little extra raspier than usual, that is why. I've even lost my voice, intermittently because of the allergies. Anybody else's house just been hit really hard this winter with illnesses or having allergy bugs? Surely I'm not the only one out there, but I tell you, when you got a house full of sick kids as a mama, that's hard because you want to take care of your babies, and that's just it's stressful. You want to make them better, but you're limited in what you can do. You do the best you can, and then when mama goes down sick too, that just makes everything even harder. So now that everybody's feeling better, some crafting therapy to de-stress, relax. It's just what the doctor ordered. So as you can see here, I'm just gonna keep piecing this potpourri around, and I like to sometimes break apart some little potpourri pieces to fit in between other pieces, just whatever you need to do to make it fit. Like I said, there's no right or wrong with this project. It's just a really fun, simple project to do that looks great. And I'm making this in particular for my entryway in my house because that's the first place people walk in, and having something that's not only pleasing to look at, but smells good too, that's the perfect place to place something like this. So that's where mine is going, is in my entryway. And I really like the scent of this eucalyptus potpourri. It smells really good. It's not super overpowering like some eucalyptus smells can be. It's a much more subtle. At least this particular bag is. This is the first time I've used the Dollar Tree potpourri, but it's not overpowering, which I appreciate. I am one of those people who have a lot of trouble with really strong scents. Remember the whole allergy thing that I was talking about? Really, really strong scents will just clog my sinuses and everything right up. And so even though I absolutely love the smell of certain things, I just can't have them if it's super overpowering or strong. So that's another reason I'm really liking this potpourri. It's not overpowering. It's a mild smell that doesn't seem to be bothering my sinuses, which is always major bonus plus for me. So I'm going to keep going with my potpourri here, and sometimes these half nuts on the top, I'm going to take back and go back over top and add them around the top and places so they're kind of evenly spaced around the wreath. You could see me kind of trying a piece there, but I'm just going to keep going. And when I'm doing this potpourri too, I don't know if I mentioned, I'm doing it on the top half of my wreath. So I'm not going to go all the way around the wreath. We're not going to do the full thing. I'm just going to do it on the top half. And it takes about approximately half a bag. You're going to have leftovers for this. It will not use the whole bag if you use one of the Dollar Tree wreath frames. Now, if you used a bigger wreath frame, it may, but for the Dollar Tree ones in particular, for that size, it will only take about half a bag. So save the rest of that because we are going to use it in another project here coming up next that's going to match this little wreath. I love it when I can get multiple craft projects out of one item. I mean, 2 craft projects for $1.25, that's like bonus crafting points right there. This is such a pretty green. The colors in this potpourri is also, it's really pretty. It's such springy colors, but they're muted too. So I really like the dried springy colors. Dried springy colors. I hope you like that new color terminology I just made up. Anyways, I love the natural elements, and that's what this brings in with the nutshells and the greens and the dried materials. I really like it. Now, as you can see here, I'm going to just, at the end, I'm going to kind of turn it on the side, and I'm going to go around and place some extras around this edge. Because like I said, I only did the top half of this. So that way, any extra little styrofoam that might be peeking out that I couldn't see from looking straight down on it, I will go around and add around the edges here. And I'll just do that all the way around, just so that it's nice and covered. And if you need to break some of this potpourri to make it fit, go for it. I broke apart multiple pieces. Now once it's done, remember that flower I said I was going to use? Yep, here we go. I'm going to take and I'm going to add it right here in this kind of little blank spot. As you can see, I added some of those half nut pieces around the top, spaced out, and then I'm going to hot glue that pretty little flower right there. And to finish this off, I'm going to take some of the dried Spanish moss. Now, this is, I think this stuff's from Walmart, but Dollar Tree sells it, if you can find it. My Dollar Tree's out of it a lot, which drives me buggy because I love using Spanish moss. But Walmart usually always has it, Hobby Lobby, other places, but I digress. Anyways, I'm going to take my Spanish moss and I'm just going to hot glue it right around the edge of my potpourri. As you can see, like I'm doing here. I'm going to do this. This is going to kind of finish this edge off, and it's going to make sure that no styrofoam is showing through on the front at all. It's just going to make it look so much more finished, so much more complete, and a little more high-end. And I'm going to do this on the inner edge as well as all along the outer edge of my wreath. Now you could go all the way around the complete back if you wanted to. I didn't, because you're not going to see that back part. Plus I didn't want the Spanish moss hitting my wall and like kind of crumbling and making a mess. So you could even, if you want to, some people will use hairspray and spray the Spanish moss so that it doesn't crumble. I've never done that. If you have, any of you ever used hairspray to keep it from crumbling? If you have, let me know if that works. And here you go. You could even use these as a candle ring. They smell great and look great. Hi friends, I hope you're enjoying the video so far. If you are, don't forget to give this video a like, maybe share it with your friends, and if you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button over there so that you don't miss any future DIYs. And now, on to DIY number 2. For this project, I'm going to start off by taking one of these just plastic eggs that you can get this time of year, Dollar Tree, Walmart, pretty much anywhere. And I'm going to take it, I'm going to hot glue it closed. That way it doesn't pop open on me, wipe off any of that excess that popped out. Now to start off, I'm going to want to kind of cover this so that the color doesn't like show through, because that's not what we're going for. So I'm going to take some of this dried Spanish moss, and I'm just going to cover my egg in hot glue, and I'm just going to roll the Spanish moss right over top that egg. And I'm going to keep doing that. This is a really good project for, you know, all that shake, that broken Spanish moss that's kind of in the bottom of the bag that can get wasted a lot because it's just shake. This is a great project to use that up, because you can just kind of dump it out on your mat here, glue it, and then roll your egg in it, because this is just kind of filler around the egg. It covers that bright colored egg, and it's going to fill in around where we're going to be putting our potpourri. That's right. We're going to be using the rest of the potpourri from the first project to make little bowl fillers that are going to match our potpourri wreath we made in the first DIY. So just keep covering, just roll it up, squeeze that Spanish moss down tight until you've got a decent cover. It doesn't have to be 100% covered. We just want to really mute that. You could paint the eggs too if you wanted to, but I didn't really find it necessary. This worked for me. So just like in the first project, I'm going to take my hot glue and I'm going to start gluing my potpourri pieces around my egg in a way that I think looks good. And you'll have little bits of Spanish moss showing through, and that's okay. That's kind of what we wanted. That Spanish moss to peek through the edges of the potpourri. Just as long as you got the majority of it covered. Once again, there's no right, there's no wrong. It's just whatever looks good for you. If you don't want to use the plastic Easter eggs, you could also use the styrofoam balls that you can get at Dollar Tree. Those would also work great. I'm just using these plastic eggs because I always this time of year seem to have an overabundance of plastic eggs everywhere. Like I said, with my 4 kids, it seems like every time I turn around, there's more plastic eggs. They've multiplied somehow. They've brought them home from school, a class party, or the Easter egg hunts at school, or from church, or just somewhere. There's always plastic eggs. Anybody else have that happen? These plastic eggs just appear everywhere. And so I figured, you know what, let's use these to, I only had about 200 around the house, around. So let's use them to make something. And I'm going to use them to make bowl fillers. It turned out perfect. Worked great. Just continue to put your potpourri around. And I'm going to put one of these the nutshells right on the kind of end of my egg, where it's kind of that odd kind of shape anyway. And it kind of rounds it out. Yeah, why not? This is a super simple and extremely budget-friendly project. I mean, if you reuse plastic eggs that you say already have, or even if you have to go to Dollar Tree and buy a pack, which you can get a pack of 12 for $1.25 there. And I think Walmart has them. They might even be cheaper at Walmart. But say you reuse it even, and you're using the second half of the bag of potpourri if you made the wreath, and you're making these for just pennies. It's such an inexpensive and fun project, but it turns out so pretty, and it's different and unique. I mean, there are a lot of people who use potpourri as bowl fillers, and they have like these little wicker balls, as you can see, that are sitting here that are included in there, which go great with these, paired great, but you don't see actual, like, the potpourri made into like a 3D ball to fill a bowl with, or maybe pair with another bowl filler. These are just one of a kind, but I think they're so pretty and so easy to make and fun to make and inexpensive. Plus, you get to use up potentially, things around your house that aren't needed, like 1,000 plastic eggs, for example. But I encourage you to give these a try. They're a very forgiving project. The texture of this with the potpourri, it's really hard to mess this project up. It really is. I mean, I don't think there's a whole lot you could do that would mess this up. So give it a try and just have fun with it, because that's a very important part of crafting too, is just having fun and letting your creative side flow and seeing what you come up with. And I think we have a win here. So that's it for today, friends. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, don't forget to give it a like, leave me a comment, let me know what you thought, and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And until next time, happy crafting.